So this video is about how to combine two separate cover sheets or worksheets in Google Sheets based on some unique ID. So I'm going to combine data from this sample data. So here's their sample data. These are their students. This is the data they actually collected. And I'm going to combine that with a sample cover sheet. So this is two separate worksheets. And you see the same names, their classes, and some worksheet data, and cover sheet data rather. So the first thing I want to do is I want to move this sheet into one single file, and I'm going to put it in here. And so you do that by going to File, I can either make a copy and then move. And if you click on Move, say choose the worksheet that you're working on, and I don't want to do that because I don't want to show everything in my file, etc. But it's very easy to copy this sheet into here, and I've done that right here, and I've renamed it Coversheet. So you can rename it by doing this, rename. So, and I'll explain why this is colored in a minute. So then the next thing you want to do is you want to create a unique ID. But before I do that, and I'm going to create a unique ID based on their first name, their section number, and their visit number, because I know those things are going to be unique for them. And one of the first things I'm going to have to do, you'll notice that in this data sheet, they don't have a class number. So the first thing you have to do is create a class number. And I've already done that right here. You insert a column. You can do right-click, insert column to the right, and then I went through each one and added their class number. So now they have a class number. And their cover sheet already has a class number. So I know that I can create a unique ID using their first name, their class, and their visit. Well, do I have the same information here now? Yes. First name, class, and visit number. So the next thing I'm going to do is create that unique ID. And I'm going to use the concatenate to do that. So what you do is you first create a column, insert column to the left. And I've already done that. I'm going to show you here. And here's my unique ID. And you can see the formula right here. Concatenate D3, their class, their first name, C3 is their name, and G3 is the visit number. And I'll show you that if I change the visit number here, their unique ID will change. It's going to change it back. And I'm going to do the same thing for the cover sheet. It already has everything here. So again, insert a column to the left. And I've already done that. So just let me show you. And there. So now we have a unique ID that's specific to the cover sheet and a unique ID that's specific to the data sheet. And that's going to be the unique ID I use to merge, to add information. And what I want to do, the easiest thing to do is choose the sheet with the most information and make that your main data sheet. And this is going to be the target sheet right here, because the cover sheet has slightly less information. Okay? And the reason that I've colored these is because this is the data that I actually want to bring in to my main sheet, where I want to bring in this information into my data sheet. I don't need to bring in this stuff, because this is the stuff that's already in the data sheet. So I want to bring in this, I want to bring in their month, etc., etc. And what I find easiest to do is I find it's easiest to color these to make sure I know which ones I'm looking at. And then I also add a row at the top. And I'm going to see if I can, no, it seemed to have disappeared. There. I'm going to add a row, and all you do to do that is you, again, right-click, insert row above or below, choose above, and then I do column 1. I label each column because when we use the formulas later, it's going to be very, very useful to have these numbers right here. So now, I go back to my data sheet. Well, before I do that, I'm going to count how many columns I'm going to be bringing in. I'm going to be bringing in 1 column, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'll be bringing in 9 columns. The reason you need to count that is because you need to insert some blank columns. And I'm going to put that information right here. I want those 9 columns between this part right here. So I've already done that. So again, you just highlight the column, right-click and insert column to the right. I'm going to do it that way. And you insert 9 of these empty columns. I'm going to delete that because I've already started. So let me just expand that since I can show you. And so here is month, day. This is I've entered, you see these are empty columns. So I've entered 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to enter a few more. This is column number 5. Column 6. Column 7. Column 8. Column 9. Okay. And now I'm going to use a VLookup command for each of these columns. The first thing you want to make it really easy on yourself rather, I actually copy the names of these right here, and they'll be colored already. So, oh, by the way you color that is you just highlight each of the columns, and then you insert, you choose a fill color. So now I'm going to copy. So here, I've already copied what? 1, 2, 3, 4. And so the 5th one is 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to copy that, Control C, and paste it right here. Okay. And that way it helps keep you organized in terms of which columns you've brought in, you haven't brought in yet. And then the VLookup command is right here. Okay. The A3 says, look at here, and then look at the cover sheet data, everything from here all the way through. And if you find it, the unique ID, bring in column 6. And this is column 6, and this is the information for column 6. And that's what will happen. Okay? And then in Google Sheets, the easiest way to extend this formula all the way down is just to double click on this. Okay? And it'll expand all the way down. The next thing, and then you have to copy this formula. Control Alt copy. And paste it into a new place. So remember, this is column 6. This was column 7. See how this changes? Click here, paste it. And then instead of remember, this was column 6 data, column 7 data, and I want column 8 data here. So I'm just going to change that. And it'll autofill suggestion. You can click. I'll show you how to, if you don't want to choose this, I'll show you how to do that. So it says OK, and then you can just double click on this, and it'll fill it. And then you do the same thing for here. Remember, again, this was column 6 data, column 7 data, column 8 data. This is going to be column 9 data. Again, I'm going to have to change that manually, column 9. This time I'm just going to click accept. and it will automatically fill with all the information. And that's all there is to it.